Brooklyn's historic The Black Lady Theater is now taking bookings. Host your next birthday party, concert, networking event, baby or bridal shower, wedding, art show, gala, corporate event, live stage play, audition, and so much more. At the one and only The Black Lady Theater. Mention code GODCAST for 15% off your rental fee. Code good for the first-time customers only. Valid for a limited time. Call 718-771-0900 to book your event today.
Peace. Today is Monday, August 12th, making today's math.
Knowledge, wisdom, all being born to understanding.
That's right. Knowledge is what you know. Wisdom is what you speak or how you act and move. And understanding is the culmination of the two, what people get from what you say and how you act. Peace. Welcome back to the Yanadameen Godcast. I'm Lord Jamar.
I'm Digga.
My man Godfrey is still, I think he's in LA right now, but he will be back. Next show, he will be back.
Okay.
According to him.
And I'm going to be away next week. Y'all not going to have me next week, guys.
Oh, shit. You know what? I got to figure something out because I just got a call today. I might be called away next Wednesday. So, we got to figure this out. We'll see. Hopefully, somebody will be here next Wednesday.
Godfrey all by himself.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be Johnny Fastlane.
Standing in for
in the motherfucking
Johnny
chair, okay?
Fastlane. All right.
Either way, we're going to bring you quality programming.
That's right.
As we always do. And the way we're able to do that is by people graciously doing what they do every week. Shout out to my $1 a week club. We got somebody else that said they was about to join the $1 a week club, where they're just going to give $1 a week consistently. And
we got 70,000 subscribers.
73 going on 74, something like that, 1,000 subscribers.
Could we get 70,000 a week?
Yo, even if we had a quarter of that, even if a quarter of that did that every week, that would be so helpful.
We could go on our fact-finding trip in Africa.
Listen, it's called cooperative economics. See, instead of like trying to go to one person to foot the whole bill, we need to start learning how to come together. And I can't buy this building myself, but if we come together and you put yours with mine, and now we got power.
There's all type of ways.
We as black people have a lot of purchasing power that we don't realize. Mm-hmm. We're able to do a lot of things out here. So, yeah, and I just saw advertisement for your man, Tyler Perry Studios, where he's like, they got videos to where they're like trying to, get other people to use the studios and all. And it's super impressive. And shit, all you need is $1 and a dream.
Speaking of studios, not to take us off track, but I just saw a story where Common is looking to build a studio setup in Chicago.
Listen. All you need is $1 and a dream, okay? Right. So if you'd like to donate to this show, go to cash.me/$Yanadameen, patreon.com/Yanadameen, yanadameen.com/support, or bounty.com/Yanadameen. We appreciate every dollar, every quarter, whatever it is you could do. Let's build this shit up and show and prove that we can do this ourselves, and that way we can say whatever the fuck we want to say, how we want to say it, huh?
That's right.
That being said, what is it we want to say?
Well,
how do we want to say it, Digga?
Well, we can start in a hip hop way. There's a somber note. Before I say we start with the hip hop, but before we do that, I want to say rest in peace to everybody that lost their lives last weekend to the mass shootings that took place, 2 in a row, back to back. But we're gonna unpack that, but not right this second. Right this second, I would like to start with this greatest of 50 MCs, 50 greatest MCs of all time list that broke out.
That somehow became viral.
Viral.
This past few days or whatever. It'll
Well,
be a week
last
once
week,
this come
yeah.
out. Yeah, that has sparked
Numerous lists.
debates.
Right.
And it's also sparked other people's lists. Jay Netta, I guess you can show us. We'll put up the original list.
Yeah, we're
right?
gonna focus on the list that started it all, because there's a ton of lists, and I'm pretty sure there'll be more by the time this episode actually airs. But this is the list that started it all.
Right. Now, do we have that right in front of us?
We do. I do.
Let's pull that up.
Okay. I got it right here. I'm not gonna go through all 50 of them, but some key points.
Why not?
Okay,
Real quick.
let's do it. Okay, I'll be the 50 greatest rappers of all time correspondent, and whoever wrote this list, because no one has revealed where the list came from. People are speculating, but no one has come out and just said this is my list. But
Joe Budden says it wasn't him.
Joe Budden says it wasn't
Okay.
him.
Good.
And so this is the top 50 greatest rappers of all time. And then they doubled down and said in that order. So
really?
they're letting you know, like,
And in that order.
like these aren't
like a Mama D.
Yeah, like these aren't just the 50 greatest to me. This is their ranking.
Right.
So we have Hovey Baby coming in at number 1.
Who I don't disagree with, but go ahead.
We got Nas coming in at number 2. We have Joe Budden coming in at number 3.
Now, that's the one that a lot of people was like, hold the fuck up. Who wrote this list? But now, I love Joe Budden as a lyricist. I think he's dope. We're not dissing Joe Budden, but I think even he, when he saw that, had to be like, wait the fuck a minute. Who the hell wrote
Nah,
this? Like,
I saw him playing around on Twitter. He's like, hey, he's like, I swear I didn't make the list,
Right,
but I'm rolling.
but I'm rolling, right? Okay, go ahead. Keep
So
going.
we've got Styles P at number 4.
Okay.
We've got Black Thought at number 5. We've got Fabulous at number 6. Jadakiss at 7. Number 8, Biggie. Number 9, Ghostface. Well, save all your remarks. Let me just get through the names. Number 9, Ghostface. Number 10, Kendrick. 11, Beanie. 12, Rakim. 13, Pusha T. 14, Redman. 15, Pac. 16, Scarface. 17, Andre 3000. 18, Common. 19, J. Cole. 20, Lupe. 21, Royce. 22, DMX. 23, Drake. 24, T.I. 25, Raekwon. 26, Twista. 27, Method Man. 28, Eminem. 29, Prodigy. 30, Mos Def. 31, Coogee Rap. 32, Big Boy. 33, Jeezy. 34, Snoop. 35, Cameron. 36, Bun B. 37, Lil Wayne. 38, Killer Mike. 39, Ice Cube. 40, AZ. 41, Mace. 42, Stack Bundles. 43, 8 Ball. 44, Big Pun. 45, The Game. 46, LL. 47, Rick Ross. 48, 50 Cent. 49, Busta Rhymes. And 50, Lloyd Banks.
Now, do they have a criteria for how they chose this?
No. I didn't see any.
This was just
I
their
don't
list,
I don't know if
and
this
there's
is
no, because I feel like, I mean, there's got to be a criteria in this person's
probably
mind.
in their mind, but they
Right.
they didn't share it. So I don't know if this is lyricism, impact, accolades, awards, sales, all of the above. Like, I don't know, I don't know how they're ranking them and like what's most important to them, because we had the conversation coming up here as far as like what's, like what's a good criteria to base these lists on. And
right. Well, let's talk about, because I think that's important
to know
what the person's criteria is, just like you need to know the author of a book.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? To really
Right.
know what their outlook is on something.
Right.
You need to know what somebody's criteria is when they make these lists. So you and I, we already know we have different criterias, I believe.
Right.
That sometimes intertwine with each other, and then sometimes they veer off from each other. So why don't you go ahead and say what you feel a criteria of a list would be for your list. I'll tell you what I think my criteria, what's more important to me, and then maybe we could talk about what we agree on there and don't agree with.
Okay. Well, for me, it's hard. For me, it's impossible to make one list because I always, I'm always judging artists two different ways. Like, I have a greatest of all time list that I just feel their entire artistry, like the total package. That would be my greatest rapper list. But I also have a greatest lyricist list. And these are the people that I feel like inspire me to write. Like, when I hear their music, they may not necessarily be the soundtrack to my life, but just the level of technique that they use putting their words together actually inspire me to step my bars up. And that list differs from my greatest artist list. My greatest lyricist list is Black Thought, Pharoah Monch, Kool G Rap, Nas, and I know you're going to hate this, Eminem is on that list. Now,
I don't hate it. That's your list.
Now I have a greatest artist list who I feel like are the total package, who are lyrics in addition to everything else.
Right, and on your artist list, that doesn't mean they're just great artists. They don't necessarily have to be writers.
That doesn't mean
or lyrically flipping shit.
Yeah, they're not necessarily the nicest lyricists
and
to
they
me.
don't even have to write their shit. Is what I'm saying.
Well, for me, I don't put people on the list that don't write. I'm sorry.
As artists?
As artists.
Even an artist.
That for me.
Okay.
For me, that's a moral ground that I stand on. Like,
right.
You're a rapper, you write your own rhymes.
Well, I feel like if you're a lyricist, you damn sure.
No, you're right.
You're
right. But for me, I'm judging you if you don't write.
Okay.
That's just
Yeah,
I
feel you.
That's something that I feel.
I'm lightweight judging you, but not if I look at you as an artist, because there's been plenty of artists that we've loved over time.
I agree.
Outside of the rap genre, that didn't write anything. They were great entertainers. You see? And so some people know how to
But for me, it's different when it comes to rap. Like, I feel like that's where it starts, like writing your own rhymes. So
yeah, but
artist, lyricist list, I just have a hard time.
Like Salt and Pepper wasn't writing that shit, but they were great artists.
But
But
they're not in my GOAT list. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
I don't take nothing from them.
But their impact on hip hop, for me, you have to put them in some sort of a GOAT category. Like, even though they didn't write, you see, so that's where it gets tricky. And now we're talking about
so then we make
criterias.
entertainers. So then there's a third category. Then that would be the greatest entertainers.
Well, I feel like entertainers and artists, that's the same.
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily, because part of being an artist is like the art of making the music and writing the rhyme.
But that's just one part of the art.
As opposed to being...
Do you know there's also vocal artistry? Like, just the fact that you can say it well and deliver it, that's an artistry in itself, Digga.
It's a talent, but
it's an artistry.
It's a talent, but I don't consider
writing. Well, then you can belittle writing and say, "Well, that's a talent."
But you can't it's an art. You can't belittle writing when you're talking about rapping.
And
like,
you can't belittle
all of these other
delivery.
All of these other genres. I don't belittle delivery.
Nor can you belittle
I don't belittle
charisma.
I don't belittle any of those things, but all of that becomes,
and that's part of artist and entertainer.
All of that becomes, what makes you a good artist. But I still have a problem with putting you high on the list. You can make the list. I'm not going to put you high on the list above someone that captures all of those essences and write their own rhymes.
Well,
just because that person might have sold more or impacted more. But now my greatest artist list, that would be a Jay-Z. That would be a Nas. That would be Pac. That would be, then that's where when we're talking overall, what you mean in my life, like that is that list.
See, for me, I'm going to tell you my criteria, because at the end of the day, music is about how it makes you feel. You know what I mean? So for me, the ones that are automatically in my top 50 or whatever ones are going to be people that's created albums that made me feel them like this was the soundtrack to my life. Mm-hmm. Now, some of those albums had dudes that rhymed crazy, and some of them had dudes that just rhymed very straight up the middle, up the road, to the point. So for me, I'm looking for how it makes me feel first, kind of. Does it give me that ugly face? Like, that's the kind of hip-hop I like, ugly face hip-hop.
But the rapping isn't what makes the ugly face?
Hold up.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not right away.
Okay.
No, because a lot of times, first of all, you'll hear a song within the first 15 seconds before anybody even starts rhyming. You kind of know if this shit is banging a lot from the beat. Okay, maybe even the intro, something about it. You'll feel the energy. Fuck just cueing in on the beat. It's something about the energy of the song that you'll feel within the first few seconds before any fucking rhyme. And as soon as that shit come on, you might get the ugly face before anybody start rhyming. So, me as somebody who's not just looking at rhymes, because see, you I think are caught up just on the MC shit with hip hop.
Not just.
Mainly.
But it's what I listen to.
Right.
It's what I listen for first.
But
it's not a just.
I don't listen for that first necessarily. I'm listening to the whole thing. I'm listening to it as a producer, as like an engineer, as a rapper, as a DJ. I'm listening to all the aspects of it. So it's like, it's not even always how fresh they can rhyme. What kind of beat did this guy choose too? That kind of tells me something about a rapper. It's like, if you picking some shit that's not giving me that ugly face.
I think beats are subjective, because there are rappers that we like that we might hear that beat like, I wouldn't have rapped to that, but he bodied that. Like, every beats ain't. I can't judge you for that.
Yeah, but then
it's what you do to the beat lyrically that makes it for me.
Sometimes the beat it's gonna be ugly face if nobody rhymes on it. It's just gonna be ugly face just playing for 4 hours in the studio. You still gonna have that ugly face. When you walk in and you hear that fucking.
And that's how a not so lyrical person can rock. Can get away with being in the conversation.
Get on some shit like that, then that's even better. See, it's like,
I mean, that's what I'm here
gravy
for.
Gravy on the mashed potatoes. What I'm saying is feeling, okay? Of course, tonation, voice tonation matters to me. How you sound matters to me. And yes, if you can rhyme at a very high level, that's great. But I like dudes. There's some dudes that I like who rhyme very simple. And I might like them more than some of these flibbity-flobbity type of rappers, because the flibbity-flobbity guy is saying some dumb shit that doesn't resonate, that I don't feel. Yet this simpleton rapper that you might not be so impressed with his lyrical gymnastics is saying something that gets into my veins and I feel it in my DNA, and I could just be like, I know who that guy is. I fuck with him. I relate with.
And I will put people like that on my artist list. I put people. Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. I know I mentioned 3 names, but Rakim and KRS are also my on my greatest artists. Those are my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna put, like. First of all, was KRS even on that list?
On what list?
The original 50 list. On that list right there.
No, they didn't put KRS. They didn't put Chuck D. Like there's certain
Rakim like 12. Like
there's certain people, like if I don't see certain names on your list, I'm judging you. Like I never want to hear your hip hop opinion. I never want to, you know. There's just certain names, like if I see them, like, so when I think this person kind of shot themselves in the foot when they like double down and put in order, because now we're judging you in order. Like if you'd have just said this is my top 50 in no particular order, it's like, okay, because I do agree for the most part all of the names make sense. You know, there's certain
they're good.
There's certain people I would swap out.
They're at
but that's what I'm saying.
Is
when he put
subjective and debatable.
That's what I'm saying. When he put in order, I feel like that's when, and we're saying he, like who knows, a chick didn't make this, but I feel like that's where this person opened themselves up to scrutiny when they said in order. Because
for instance,
yeah.
Now I love both of these rappers and they're in the same group. But to put Styles P over Jadakiss, in a lot of people's minds, I feel they would switch that.
You know, I know a lot of people that like Styles P over Jada.
Is fresh as fuck.
And
people, but I feel like most people look at Jadakiss as that really super lyrical one in the group.
They do.
But Styles is the one that you feel. But he's dope too, though. But it's like you feel him.
I've been a part of multiple conversations where that has been debated. And from the lyrical aspect of it, I prefer Jada, even though Styles is fresh as fuck too.
Right.
But I feel like Styles' output and just, as far as the content resonating, is Styles.
Shout out to the Locks, Juices for Life. Go check them out.
And shouts out to Sheik, cause like really,
niggas be sleeping on Sheik, and I'm tired of that too.
Yo, Sheik is so crazy. Like
Sheik is nasty.
I know plenty of people that Sheik is their favorite. Like we're not even, are we even having that discussion? Cause that's like,
Well, that's some real hip hop shit. Cause a lot of people really try to sleep on Sheik, and I'm like, are y'all bugging? Like
I don't think they sleep on Sheik. I just think they, it's always because you're always seeing Jada. You're always hearing Styles, so maybe Sheik. I guess Sheik would be
saying some of the most street shit out of all of them.
I feel like Sheik people probably consider Sheik the least active, but no, it gets debated a lot that Sheik is arguably people's favorite. So
I'm glad to hear that.
I've seen that conversation plenty of times. I think this is a good. I think this is a good list. I saw people arguing about why aren't there any females in the list. I think I even tweeted myself like I'm watching a few of these dudes, but I digress.
Somebody sent me an all-female list.
See, whatever. I don't know.
Digga wasn't feeling it.
Because it's just certain things that just don't make sense, and I'm not even gonna get into it right now. But it's like I can look at your list and tell that like you just don't know any better. You just like your musical taste just is god awful. So I'm not even gonna. I just look at people's lists as like, to me, it's not an indicator to me either way what's going on in hip hop. All it tells me is how smart and knowledgeable you are.
Your hip hop
when it comes to music.
That's what these lists do, because a lot of it all depends on where did you even enter into the hip hop
and where you're
spectrum.
from.
Because if you're not You see what I'm saying? Knowing from the early times, then you're not going to mention a Grandmaster Caz or a Melly Mel or
Exactly.
even Spoonie G.
And then if you're from a different region, somebody will say, well, how can you make a lyricist technique list without adding a Tech 9 or a Twister? Or, you know, so I think it's regional. I think it's age. And really just, you know, what it is you get out of music. Everybody doesn't get the same thing out of music. Me, Rah Digga, me personally, and my brain is probably the minority amongst females and everybody else. I'm listening for how well you're putting your words together. That's all I care about.
Oh, and you try to say, can they rap today?
Yeah, and that's another thing.
Right.
Now, I feel like when you use terms of all time, it has to matter that you can, when I hear all time, I think you can put this person in any era, in any time frame, and they still got it. Like, that's what all time means to me.
It means
it doesn't.
But what I'm saying is when you're comparing someone, right, to another person, you have to compare each one of them when they're in their prime. Like, I'm not going to go by, like, a Nas right now and try to verse him against a young, you know, first album Biggie Smalls or some shit, you see? Because it's different. And first of all, certain people can't do it now because they're not around.
I think what they're talking about might be different, but the technique of it still has to be, like, you can't be cornier than what you started.
Right.
You can be talking about different stuff, but technically you still have to be on that level.
You
like,
shouldn't be cornier.
that means a lot to me.
What I'm saying is most people, their best work is behind them. Even if they're able to do shit right now at a high level, like a Jay-Z and a Nas that are doing great shit, their best work is behind them. Like, their greatest hits are behind them right now. But they can still do it right now. But I don't feel like a rapper that can't necessarily rhyme right now, because they was nice back in the day. I don't think that should take them out of any kind of running or anything like that.
But see, you're talking about hits and their best work. Like, to me right now, Nas sounds lyrically just as good telling a girl to cross his legs as he did talking about pissing in a project hallway 20 years ago. I'm talking about technique.
I think technique-wise, but we don't feel it the same way. And then that's back to my...
And that's because we're older now, but
yeah, shit changes. But
you know, we ain't the rah. You know, of course it feels different now because we're talking about grown up shit. Like, and I had to revisit 444 this weekend because I think last weekend I was like
talking shit about it.
No, I wasn't talking shit. I said I wasn't necessarily feeling it. Like, he wasn't giving me Marcy.
Right.
I had to listen to it again just to make sure that was a fair assessment. I still stand by what I said.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we got a special guest coming up, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna have Tragedy Gaddafi. I put tragedy and Gaddafi all in
together.
One. Tragedy Gaddafi when we come back. Yanadameen Godcast.
Yep.
Peace. We'd like to bring you an independent book from an independent author today. And this book is called Jacob I.E., A Manual for Self-Control by Jacoby Ellison. Once again, that's Jacob, comma, I.E. A Manual for Self-Control by Jacoby Ellison.
Right on. And as Jacoby writes, as a recent college graduate finding himself on the edge of life, falling into a pit of darkness, he wrote down his thoughts before landing. This is the story of a teenager breaking the rules, learning the law, and becoming a man.
That's right. Jacob I.E., A Manual for Self-Control. Now, I must say self-control, I believe, is the key to success. Self-control is something we all need, and if this is a book that can help you gain such, I suggest you read it. Now, if you'd like to purchase this book, the purchase link go to lulu.com/spotlight/J.A. Allison. Again, that's lulu.com/spotlight/J.A.A.L.L.I.S.O.N. Also available on iTunes Bookstore and Barnes & Nobles. And if you would like to advertise with the Yanadameen Godcast, hit us up at yanadameengodcast@gmail.com. We got affordable rates for everyone. We appreciate you. Peace.